All right, we should be live.
Okay. I'm gonna just wait to get that live signal and so I can put up a link so I can put it on the Twitters
Mm-hmm.
and then we can get going. We can dig in.
Sweet.
hmm There it is.
Just pulling up the chat at the moment so I can make
Yeah,
sure I
I am
don't
doing the
miss
same
anything.
too. Yep, me too. So, we'll wait. We'll wait a minute or two for a few people to get on in before we get started. I'll
Maybe we
remember
can
to
get
edit it.
Squee. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we can even get Squee. Exactly. Exactly. Well, how about we'll wait 5 minutes? So, future Inferno, if you're listening to this, um, listen to the 5 minutes, 5 minute mark, around there. Maybe it'll be 6 minutes by the time you're done explaining this to yourself. But yeah, no, this is going to be a very eventful recap, I think. I feel at least. Because we go through a lot. We're going to be going through a lot. But I guess we had the group had a lot of adventures in about 27 episodes. 27, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. So what can we quickly talk about in the meantime? I finished, well, I guess you guys probably know because I fucking told you this already and I goddamn tweeted it. I finally finished the main story of The Witcher 3 and I'm thrilled with it. Um,
Sweet.
I liked my ending. There was one part which was bittersweet, but I'm like, you know what? I'm content with the decision that I made because it was the right choice for me. And so something else happened, and I'm like, okay, I accept this.
Boy. I came back from Gen Con.
Yes, you did. Unless you're still there right now, that'd be really
I
funny.
I hope not. It was quite warm there with tons of people. Very uncomfortable if I was there by myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I start my new job tomorrow, so we'll be probably
Shit.
finishing pretty close to 11 o'clock on my end, because I'm gonna need my sleepy sleeps. But
All
we're
right.
still gonna get it good. That's normally when we like to stop anyway. So just
New
sometimes we go
job.
over.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah,
not
brand new job. Mm-hmm.
you're not still selling the air to the old peoples anymore?
No, I actually got laid off from that. The
Aw.
economy in Alberta is not good, so my job was seen as redundant. I was laid off. So I was out looking for another job, and it was hard. Uh, the economy here in Alberta, the job market has not been so bad for the past 25 years. But I managed to score something that's not only excellent, but it's actually better than the last job I had. So, and it's better paying too. So, I got extremely fortunate, but I admittedly had to work really hard for that. I really put my foot to the pavement. I kind of had to. So I
Well,
actually, it was funny. I was on the stream with Piff, and my phone rang. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this, and I'm talking in the background. And I come back. I'm like, Piff, I just got a job. I got the job I wanted, so I'm gonna go now and deal with some things.
It was great. He was just like, yeah, I got some time, and then I'm playing a bit. I'm like, oh yeah, Inferno wanted to make sure that he was here, so I was like, Inferno, come
Mhm.
on down. He was having a good time,
Mhm.
and then like shortly afterwards, he gets like, oh, I'm having a phone call,
Mhm.
and then you can hear very softly in the back, yeah, yeah, yes.
Oh, you could
He's
hear
getting
my
more,
call. You could hear me in the background. I
getting
didn't know
more and
that.
more excited, and just.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could hear me. I didn't mute my mic. I went to the next room, but I guess I don't have that big
it
of a place.
it picked up It didn't pick up anything embarrassing or anything
No, I
like
know. Oh, I know my
Um,
end of it. Like, how much do
you
you want me to take my clothes off for? Thanks, IHT.
But he came back and just was like, I just got a new job. I gotta take care of a few things, and I'll see you later. I don't think I saw him for the rest of the day.
No, you didn't. Well, because no, I know you didn't. I'm sorry.
But it's okay. You
It's
got a
okay.
freaking new job, which is
Mhm.
way more important than whatever the flip I was doing.
It was the 7,000th run of Battle Blocks.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah,
did show up a little bit later on because Mackenzie was there.
yeah.
Yeah, I did show up a little bit later.
Well, I'm glad you got your job.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Big, like right now, it's just a big weight off my shoulders. Huge weight off my shoulders. So it's nice. So I'll definitely be able to make it to the next convention because I'm going to be Mr. Moneybags. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You'll become your 3 Galaxy character.
No, I hope I don't become Xavier. Xavier's fun to play as, but I would hate him if I knew him in real life. He's a pit of scum and villainy. Well, let's get started then. We got a few viewers here, so I'm gonna pause for I'm gonna pause here for a moment. So Future Inferno knows what to do. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our RIFTS campaign summary, our catch-up podcast. And for this one, I, Inferno Canuck, am joined by Burn.
Hello.
Say hi, Burn. And Piff.
Hello.
Crayon won't be able to make it this week to either the podcast or the session, unfortunately. And Squee is going to be popping in pretty shortly. So he'll join in on this podcast when he can, when he has the time. So we were just talking about this before we started recording, how we got a lot to dig our teeth into. So let's start with the first topic. Now, I don't know if we touched on this last weekend because you guys were talking, last podcast, because I remember in that same little place where you guys were hiding out to stage, Tom getting sniped from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick came across this really strange, almost like an inscription in Dragonese or Elfin, along with a very strange kind of map, a mathematical map. I don't think we did mention that, did we?
I'm pretty sure we didn't. Is that where it was?
Yeah, that's exactly where it was. Yep. And it was from there that now that the witchling was dead and Nathan was blackmailed, you guys actually departed the Endless Storytales for a small period of time. You were going to try to track down this little map to see where it led and then meet up with them on the road to New Lazlo. And that's where that session started. With you guys following some ley lines, you were able to determine that the lines in this map were actually ley lines, these blue large lines of magical energy. And you followed one, and as you were following one, sure enough, you guys come across a guy surfing on one of the ley lines behind you on this strange kind of like bodyboard type of thing. And he's dressed up in this old like bomber jacket, and he talks like he's from the 1950s. And I don't know if he talked like it was in the 1950s. He had a southern accent, though. He kind of talked like Mila a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he warned you of a ley line storm that was incoming. So we took refuge in the Behemoth with you. And do you guys remember what went on? Do one of you care to pick up where I've left off in regards to this?
I can do such things.
Okay.
Do it.
I have a bad memory, but I'll try to be as accurate as possible.
Well, Bert and I will help you.
A man generally glides down on something that seems to be riding this ley line while a storm very closely approaches behind him, and he asks for refuge. Our team decided to allow him to come on in. I think he very briefly muttered something about him being a merchant or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but still being concerned about this storm thing. And I remember Inferno rolling a dice, it having a very particular number on it.
Mm-hmm.
And our window outside was less of grass and trees and the landscape around us, and more just kind of a white void. And, um,
Yeah.
um, I remember my character specifically being very happy about such things, being introduced to something that was not normally seen, but our good friend was freaking out, basically because we were put in some sort of void,
Mm-hmm.
and that it could have been a few minutes or it could have been for months. It was one of those things where, like, we could have been there forever.
There was the potential to be there forever.
Yeah. Luckily, the GM did not just decide to end the campaign there.
That would have been boring and lame.
And we popped back out with a very relieved man who actually did introduce himself.
Mhm.
You take the rest for now,
Okay.
or burn
Yeah,
if you'd like.
or Burn. Yeah. Well, I'll pass it off to you, Burn, if you remember, or do you want to throw it to me?
I'll throw it to you.
Okay. So yeah, he introduces himself as Zacharias Gilson. He is a techno wizard. He actually is originally stationed in Perrin's Post, but he goes around to nearby cities, um, showing off his wares. So when you guys were last in Perrin's Post, his shop was closed, but he ended up. He was traveling to New Lazlo on the ley line, came across you guys, and he specializes in special ammo that loaded into SDC weapons, conventional weapons, pistols, shotguns, rifles, can do special spell-like effects. Like one of them, for example, fired a hot shot of fire, right? One of them fired a special net. Another one interfered with electronic devices, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he displayed all the ammo out, what he had left from his sales, and the party just gobbled them all up. They had a really nice conversation with him, got to know a little bit more of that. They soon understood that you guys actually went into the astral plane for a small period of time. And with that, he was eventually on his way after that fun little interaction. Soon enough, you guys do come across an area which you believe is exactly marked on the map of where this hidden cache of something is. And it ends up being first in a submerged cage, in which I remember you guys finding an old pre-RIFTS laser mining device, which you guys still have with you, I do believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, along with a human femur that was submerged underwater, which I believe Patrick kept for a disturbingly long period of time. I remember it was written.
Probably the case.
I remember it was written on your character sheet for a long time, and but eventually it pathed into something that definitely was not a cave. In fact, after a large amount of exploration, it was actually some sort of strange underground temple, in which you guys had a variety of combat encounters. It was pretty close to your standard dungeon crawl. It was nice. There were monsters and zombies and a golem there that you guys had to fight and defeat. There were clues. There were things to see. There were little treasures that you guys unearthed. There were illusionary walls that you guys managed to figure out. I believe it was in this session that we found out that Mila was afraid of the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Because we were using either myself or the Ring of Daylight to help her with her fears.
So to save a little bit of time, rather than going by moment of Forgotten Temple, because we don't have a ton of time, how about Piff and Burn? Why don't you both share some of the highlights that you remember that you really liked from that encounter? If you like to, if you care to.
So, uh, this was definitely a Patrick place. He loves that sort of um, lost things as well as the really interesting magic and lore and greater beings, just things that he would find fascinating. I think the highlight in that entire thing for me was the one time where Patrick was trying to figure out how the zombies worked. I guess I'll go into detail for that one.
Go into detail. Go into detail. Because
So,
the zombies in this game were a little bit different than your conventional zombies in a D&D game.
Mhm.
mhm. So there was plenty of battles with these sort of fairly strong zombies that had sharp kind of weaponized either claws or nails. I can't remember exactly.
It was claws,
Yeah.
claw attachments, yeah. That were grafted onto their hands.
And we I believe Al decapitated one because we found out that removing their heads seemed to have them stop moving. At least their body stopped moving. Their head would keep doing things, but their body would stop. So Patrick got curious and picked up a severed head and put it on the severed headed body on and off. And apparently, each time he put it on, the zombie would kind of recontrol the body again. And when he took it off, it would fall semi-limp. And then he would keep doing that over and over again. And the party was very unhappy about such things.
Well, they
Yes.
found it utterly macabre because it was. You giggling didn't help either.
Yes, that didn't help at all.
That was around the time that Mila was having her panic attack due to the darkness, I believe. Around that time.
There's plenty of other things, but burn?
Yeah.
Well, I really liked actually figuring out after arguing, and I think we threw a chair or something at a wall and it went straight through. That was great.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you found out there was an illusion, by slamming a table on the side or breaking one of the chairs, and the piece flew off and through the wall. And you guys are like, "Wait a second, that's not normal."
Yeah.
There
There was
were
also
Go ahead. No. This is your time to shine.
there was also the bit where we actually found the golden armor that Patrick has had ever since.
Golden mail plated armor with a helmet and everything, along with more of those magic claw weapons
Yeah.
that those zombies had. Yeah, definitely. There were also, as far as there were those little fireworms too that you guys first came across. They were able to take care of. They were the zombies. The zombies were really fun as a DM because really, the only way to kill them was to, even if you separated the head, like the head from the shoulders, the head was still moving around, was to either atomize them, set them on fire, and that's about it. Like, even mega damage would just punch right through them. Like, you would have to will them down to nothing for them to stop. Yeah, zombies in Palladium are just like completely and utterly animated dead. There is no stopping them unless you absolutely destroy them, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, in my mind at least. And then, if I don't mind, do you mind if I push us forward towards near the end of this lovely little encounter? Okay.
Oh, yes.
So you guys, here's Squee. Actually, let's ask Squee the question first. Hi, Squee.
Hi.
So we just got to the part talking about the hidden temple, and we're talking about some of the general things that happened in there. But instead of going through everything by detail, I asked each of the players what some of the more memorable or favorite parts of that. Do you have any memorable or favorite parts that you care to share?
Uh,
I know you
hang on,
just
give me a
got
second.
here, so yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
While I'm sure it wasn't one of Al's favorite parts,
Uh-huh.
the little confrontation between Al, Tom, and Alicia, or I guess Al and Tom and Alicia, where Tom kind of jumped before he looked kind of thing, and Al was admonishing him, and Alicia was kind of like, dude, lay off.
Oh, holy
I remember that
shit.
too. Wow.
I completely forgot about that. Wow, see, it goes to show you what a different impression that is. Do you remember exactly what the situation? Oh, it was going.
Yes.
It was going. Oh yeah, go ahead and detail it, Squee.
I think it was walking into an area that had an illusionary wall,
Yep.
and Tom just kind of walked straight through it. And from Al's perspective, it's like there could have been anything back there. I mean, you could have died. You wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely before Al had as much faith in Tom's abilities to survive as he does now. But he basically was admonishing Tom like a child, and Alicia stepped up for Tom and was kind of like, Al, dude, the hell, lay off.
Relax.
That's right. She kept saying that you were doting on him, and they started to mock him a little bit, both Tom and Alicia. And I remember Al not appreciating that.
No,
Yeah.
so probably not for good times for Al, but I certainly enjoyed it.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad we can put your character through the ringer and you not hating it for it. But we'll move to the last part. So you guys went to two final chambers. One was pretty much the smeared body of another adventurer with a torn backpack with a strange symbol on the back of it, which you guys took. And you also got a lot of clues that something really big and heavy killed this thing. So obviously the group was extremely cautious entering the next room. And in the next room, there are a variety of statues of this strange, like dinosaur lizard-like being with 2 arms, 2 hands, humanoid in shape, with a variety of robes around, decorating the statues, kind of lining up this hallway up towards this final antechamber, where this immense statue lay broken, and on the top of the archway was like, "Don't step any." I can't remember exactly what the terminology was. Wait a second, I have my notes open. I can find out exactly. I still have my 7 pages of notes for this adventure. It's crazy awesome. Yeah, there were 10 stone statues. Oh, that's what it was. In both Draconic, in American, in French, in Spanish, and in 50 other languages that none of the other players could read, lies a very simple warning: enter not.
Yep.
And in my notes it says, if the party enters, and in parentheses, of course they will. The metallic figure 20 feet tall will come to life and attack the party. And who was the first in? I think it was Mila.
I think so, because I remember her being like the first in and still outrunning everyone.
Yeah.
She was the first in, and she dragged Alicia with her on the way back.
Yeah. I think what we did, we actually, I think, set up the battle, like who's good at running and whatnot and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had those people going first, and then we had basically another setup party ready to attack whatever was going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
If a thing came out that was going to attack us.
Yeah. But you guys managed to draw it out. You managed to defeat it. And inside of it was a large innate staff. It was actually later found out to be a rune weapon called the Staff of the Dragon Monk. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But you guys survived this hidden temple, found out some mysteries, got some good treasure from it, and were able to continue on and meet up with the Endless Storytellers soon after. Which is okay if I move on to our next talking point then, my friends.
Do it.
Okay. So they were able to catch up with the Endless Storytellers pretty easily, even though they lost some time on the road because of the whole ley line thing. It's because the Endless Storytellers ended up breaking camp because they came across the survivors of another attacked traveling show that had a few other people still alive. Namely, 3 characters. Give me a moment as I look over here. A fellow named Coleman Lipson, who was the main manager and owner of the traveling show called Coleman's Collectibles. a young human named Max, who was an operator and mechanic, and a certain DB named Pamel, who was controlled by Kriana's friend and became our friend, Rachel, who isn't with the group anymore. Her life got very, very busy. There's still an open chair at her in the virtual table for her whenever she wants to rejoin in with her amazing mermaid character. She was like a psychic mermaid in a wheelchair that sustained like water for her. She was super cool and beautiful art drawn of her as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that session was like a fun little pocket session of investigating what happened to Pamel's old show and what to do about it. Now, do you guys want me to continue with the description of this if this is hazy in your minds, or would one of you care to take the reins from here?
It's super hazy for me.
Yeah, I remember the outcome and what we did to generate the outcome, but everything else is kind of hazy.
Okay, so I'll go, since I'm the DM with the notes, right? I'll go over to the point, and when it gets to the outcome, I'll throw it to you guys. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
So sure enough, Coleman's Collections was a small show that had about 20 people on staff, and there was an attack on the show that was sudden and brutal. From their recollection, the survivors' recollection, they were traveling on a relatively secure path east of where they were. A collection of dead trees blocked the path, but before anyone could get out, there was their main vehicles were hit with rockets. They were attacked by a score of attackers with powerful weaponry, especially with explosives, and when the smoke cleared, it was just Pamel, Max, and Coleman who stood over the wreckage. Max got injured pretty badly, but Pamel was able to use her psychic gifts to heal him. And Coleman emerged without a scratch. And that's where the suspicion starts. Pamel was initially very suspicious of Coleman because he has always been kind of shady. And the fact that of everyone who walked out of that alive, he not only came out of it alive, but without any sort of injuries. So she asked the group to help her investigate. The group went to the site of the wreckage, in which they found, while Mila was climbing a tree, the group found undetonated explosive that was supposed to go off. And because it didn't go off, I remember you guys peeking into the cabin and you just saw a fucking fusion block there and you all just ran for it and then realized it didn't explode. Al got to use some of his demolition skills. And suffice to say, they found out the truth of what happened, in which I will... I believe it was some documentation. Oh, yeah. Coleman also made it really clear to the two survivors that even though they're going to be with a new troupe, the Endless Storytellers, he wanted them to still fulfill their agreement that they made when they joined up with his traveling show. So he wanted 15% of everyone's profits, which was really strange as well.
Yeah.
But, there was definitely another... a computational device that had some data on it, which was extremely incriminating. Should I throw it to you guys now, or do you want me to just keep on going with the details in regards to that?
I'm going to need you to keep on going.
Okay. So what they found out is that Coleman Lipson owed a lot of money. So in order to stay afloat, he had to cut some people in the show and get some partners who would float him some credits for a share of the action. And the group that first took interest was a gang from the south called the Gold Rose Posse. And sure enough, thanks to their aggressive tactics and Coleman's inability to make a big score, the more and more of his show, which he put years of money into, was barely his own. It was owned by some other group now. He pretty much lost it because he was a bad manager. So he wanted a break. He took the opportunity by taking the tour further up north, away from usual touring territory and arranged with an unscrupulous merc crew called the Screaming Banshees, who definitely show up a little bit later, to destroy the traveling show and to confirm kill a few certain targets who were Gold Rose posse members working as security. The Silver Banshees could rob the rest, and that was that. So it will allow him to break free from the Golden Road posse, let him start afresh, and let him keep some extra money. So the party found out his plan, and they went to confront him about it. Now, do you guys want to pick up?
Well, go ahead, Biff.
No, if you didn't, I believe most of the work in that particular scene.
If I remember correctly, we decided that we had enough evidence that we might be able to try and convince him. Either that this part's a little hazy. We were trying to convince him that either he hadn't shaken free of the old mafia type group and that he needed to run, or something along those lines.
What happened is that you masqueraded as one of the Golden Rose people, right? You took off your shirt, you showed off your cyber armor, you acted real tough. You had your face made up to look different, older, and grizzled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you pretty much made him confess. You made him confess his guilt, and with that evidence, you were able to show Zoe, the Endless Storytellers, Pamel, Max, everyone else, that Coleman was the engineer to the demise of this whole thing. Since obviously there was no prison or nothing that they can do, considering Pamel and Max were the ones that still survived that, the Endless Storytellers and Zoe and the group deferred to their judgment, in which both of them agreed that Coleman should be killed for his for what he did, for his sin, so to speak. And I believe Pamel shot his fucking face off.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, that's what happened.
Let him off with a fatal warning, right?
Yeah, with a fatal warning.
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was that. That was helping out Pamela, and from then on, she joined with the group and the Endless Storytellers for quite some time until kind of next chapter unwound. So on the way to Lazlo, about one day away from Lazlo, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, the party gets a very unorthodox visitor. Now, I pretty much talked our way through all of the last topic. Would you guys like to talk us through this next topic about meeting Tyrath and what he asked of you and that thing?
Sure.
Okay.
Who would like to start?
Yeah, you start, Piff. You start. You do it.
All right. So, in the temple previously, Patrick saw many statues with silk robes on them of many different colors, but the creature itself is something that Patrick actually knew of, which is something called a lizard mage. And he was very excited about it. It was described to me as a normal person like myself finding a unicorn.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So a statue of that and having it praised of such things is something of note right off the bat. This particular venture, freaking one just teleported right onto our ship, right in the middle of all of us.
On a table.
He loves his tables.
Yep.
And in Inferno, if you could do your signature voice of Tyrath.
Greetings, my human. I am Tyrath the Undying. Tyrath the Immortal. Tyrath the Magnificent and many-titled. That was okay, Tyrath. I haven't spoken as him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Just realized, I don't know why I've never realized before, he's very redundant, isn't he? Because he says that all the time. I'm undying and eternal. Yeah.
Well, it's not. He doesn't say end. It's more of like he just has. He keeps having
Several
different titles.
Oh,
After his
I was
name.
gonna say, don't get me wrong. That man can have as many titles as he wants to have. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna stop him?
No.
Excuse me, Tyrant.
Wait. Hold on a second. Weren't you just called Eternal? Come on now.
So, he basically was big and grandiose, and you could even feel that. Like I think none of our party is a freaking magic user, so none of us really like felt anything. So it was like we can't like just pick magic out of the air, but we could still like feel a force still there, even though we had like no sensory for it. And he was just like, I come to get my things. He actually was very like bland about it. Where it was just like, I'm come to get my property. And I think Patrick like immediately was just like, oh, 1 second, and freaking like sprinted over to like another room and got him the staff that they got from the large golem like thing, which was its power source, and which we generally found out that it was a rune weapon. And Patrick's like, I'm assuming this is yours, and he's just like, it is, and he's about to go away, and I'm like, like, no, he was like, you know what this is, to Patrick, and Patrick's like, of course, it's a rune weapon.
Yeah, and you're just giving it to me.
I love everyone's impressions of Tyre.
And might I point out,
Are you
probably
sure?
one of the easiest decisions we've had in this campaign.
Yeah.
When a giant lizard mage pops up on your table and asks for his rune weapon back, you give him his rune weapon back.
I'm honestly to this day, I honestly was just like, what scenario could have possibly happened if I'm just like, nah.
I know what would have happened. He would have been like, are you sure you want to fuck with me? And then demonstrate what he could do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he was just, I believe my approach was very much respectable and courteous, and he, I think, at least what I'm projecting, has at least went, oh, well, at least these guys have some potential or some sort of freaking like brain on their stupid human heads. So he then was just like, hey, you know, you're some swell guys and gal, how about, since you've done this generosity to me, we can do some sort of semi like partnership thing. I've been trying to get this changeling, and I can't really get near him because he kind of like knows me too well. Or like if I try to find him, he'll just notice me and then vanish again because he's super slippery. So we need you, people that he doesn't know, to help me out with this thing. And if you do, I'll give you a boon. And I'm super powerful freaking lizard mage, so you know I'm good for it.
Basically.
Those weren't his exact words, but that was the gist of it, yes. Very, very good, yes.
Except a lot more like regal respective, and also with the
Tyrannic human. Yeah.
Human.
Kinsman.
Mm-hmm. And that was a start of a beautiful friendship.
Yes! You can call it a friendship if you want.
Patrick thinks it's a friendship.
Sure. I guess it depends on how you define friends. If friends are doing favors for each other, you guys are like besties.
He doesn't.
Yeah, pretty
hate
much. I mean,
Yeah. So the group did agree to this, since they were heading into New Lazlo anyway, and they did like the idea of getting a favor, a boon, from a clearly powerful magical creature. So they said, sure, Tyrad, no problem. And as they got to New Lazlo, I'll throw it to you, Al, because I do believe after the first day or so being in New Lazlo, you got presents for the group, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was like jolly old Saint Al.
Mhm.
I don't remember exactly what it caused. I think it might have been a lot of things, but Al
Yeah. Well,
had
you felt still pretty guilty about Nathan.
yeah. There was a lot of things that I think that kind of led up to it. Al felt guilty about his actions to the party, and he wanted to kind of make it up to everyone. So he went out on his own and went shopping for gifts for everyone. And it's been so long, I don't remember. I remember when I got a lot of people. I remember
Okay,
I got
do your best. Yeah.
I got Mila a Discman with headphones and some
Mhm.
CDs,
Mhm.
which she actually used a lot until it was stolen. No,
Yeah.
we got it back, didn't we?
Yeah, you got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got her that. I got Alicia a very snazzy, like grenade launching gun or a gun that
Yeah,
launches.
it was a triax like pump rifle instead of conventional bullets of these small ballistic explosives, which are a
Yeah.
little bit smaller than grenades, but still very awesome. A perfect gift for a badass. For a badass.
And I'm kind of blanking on the rest of the gifts.
Oh, I know. I remember. You got Patrick a New Lazlo library card,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and you got Tom an ISP gem.
Yep.
Oh, well,
Yep.
how nice of Al. Honestly, honestly, I'd forgotten that.
Wow.
Wow, Al's great.
I'd forgotten what I got them.
I wouldn't have gotten them that stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, Al did feel really bad, so he I think he went through a lot of effort to try and get presents that they would actually enjoy.
Yeah, you did. I was really impressed. It was a very sweet little moment, which wasn't really big on plot, but I thought it was important to mention here on the podcast. So the last little bit is you folks arriving to New Lazlo, which is this nice burgeoning frontier colony. Pretty much, it's clearly the biggest town you guys have ever been in, and there's a lot to do and see. And before you guys really sink your teeth into months of in-game, well, not in-game, but months of out-of-game adventure in New Lazlo, the first task was Zoe, manager of the Endless Storytellers, approaching you guys, asking to deliver a talisman to a friend of hers. This fellow, Orlando Hanzo, who was a wealthy son of a cattle baron in the nearby area, he actually commissioned the Endless Storytellers to acquire this magic item from Parents Post and bring it down to him. And she's tried to contact him, and he's pretty much told her to piss off. He didn't want to deal with her, and he started his message was extremely rude towards her. And so she approached you guys as a favor because you all still kind of felt guilty about the whole witchling thing and the Nathan thing back in Innisfail. Mm-hmm. So as a small favor to her to help smooth things over, she asked you to deliver the talisman and get the rest of the payment and make sure everything gets nice and smooth. Now, I heard Byrne go, like he just remembered everything. So how would I throw it to you, sir? Do you remember?
I remember very specific details about this guy and what happened with him.
Okay. Well.
I remember tentacles.
Okay, I better give you some context so people.
Yes,
don't
please
think
do.
People don't think this all of a sudden became
I
something
think
else.
I can take it from here.
Oh,
Do it.
yeah, go ahead, Piffy.
So, we got this talisman, and I think looked at it for a bit and had two animals on either side.
Yes.
And
God, you got a good memory.
I could probably guess what the animals are, but
If I recall
just
correctly,
say
one was a bull, I think.
was the other one panther?
Yeah, panther or a puma.
Yeah, it was a big cat.
Yeah.
Big cat. So, we looked at this and was like, oh, that's cool. And so we then went over and knocked on this. It almost, I think it was like a like a mansion-esque area, like.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And we went up to him like, knock knock, is anyone home? And I believe we didn't particularly get an answer or something like that.
Well, you did, but he sounded in pain and it was very rude.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking through the door at you.
So we kind of busted open.
we entered.
Whether he liked it or not.
And we're like, we have your necklace thing. I think he said, "Fuck! It's too late."
Yeah. Yeah.
He also still wanted it though.
Kinda. Yeah. Things came to a head when he said it was too late because he thought his father was murdered and he wanted to get something to make himself a powerful adventurer. He initially commissioned the talisman to get that, but it took too long to get where he wanted, and there was a passing by a merchant who gave him something that would make him very strong. This something kind of attached itself to him, specifically his left arm, and it made his left arm super weird, and by super weird it would split out into, I wouldn't say tentacles, more like rope viney things. I guess kind of like tentacles, yeah. Stretched out, and he had super speed and super strength. I remember he had auto dodge, which the party was not muy bueno about that. But it wasn't a fight to the death. You guys did manage to subdue him without killing him. Do you guys remember how you did that?
Yes. I'm not quite sure precisely how we got into the situation, but I believe we rolled him up in a carpet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, you blinded him, you stunned him, and then you rolled him up in a carpet.
All right, job done.
As you do.
Well, actually, but you did save his life. I expected it because it was a parasite. It was some sort of evil alien parasite that was taking over his body. You managed to actually drop him off in the carpet to Myrna's House of Healing, which is a psychic healers in New Lazlo, and they helped him from there. Later on, since we probably won't get into this later on the campaign, later on he does lose his arm, but he gets a cybernetic replacement, and he ends up thanking the characters and giving them a significant amount of money when they really needed it.
Yeah.
As a thank you. Of saving his life, because he straight up attacked them and tried to kill the group, and they managed to not murder him back, which was an admirable amount of restraint.
Yeah.
Probably because you guys knew he wasn't really acting on his own accord. It was pretty clear that something was fucking with him. Yeah, I don't think
it's the arm.
Yeah,
I just think he's a douchebag.
That was my first clue.
I saw this in my notes, and this was never mentioned, I don't think, in session, but I'll say it now. It was a bio-wizard parasite named Prexier that was trying to take over the host body and gave him superhuman strength and speed. So, yeah. And with that wraps up our catch-up. Next week, next time we do our podcast summary, we'll get really into some of the adventures of New Lazlo and meet some new characters, in particular a certain drunk shifter and a certain strange young woman, which will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we will now open things up to questions from the chat. If you have any questions, either general questions about characters or the campaign or role-playing, or specific questions into what we've mentioned so far and before, nothing after. We don't want to go too far ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Now we wait for the lag to happen.
Yes,
Exactly.
now we wait
Now
for
we
the
play the waiting
catch-ups.
game.
Yes.
That doesn't happen yet, Walt.
Not yet.
Not yet. The photo?
Patrick did take a lot of photos. I think something to note, Patrick takes photos of many things around a lot of his adventures. Mostly his photos are interested towards the supernatural, and I believe he took actually a substantial amount of time, even within the temple, just taking pictures of the art that was on the walls.
Yeah. Actually, IHT, while we're waiting for other questions, he's wondering if you guys missed any other treasure in Tyras Temple. And since I have my document right open, I can quickly scroll through and see. Let's see, you got to the minor thing. That's no problem. Didn't miss anything there. Of course, you got the golden armor. That was a big hidden thing. You went through... Oh, they did actually miss... They did miss one illusionary storage door, in fact. They came across a door that was locked and they had no idea how to open it. And later on, they came across an illusionary door. And actually, the way to get into that room was the opposite side. There was also an illusionary wall, but they never went in it. So what did they miss? Let me quickly look here.
Psi power armor?
No.
That would have been cool.
It
Yeah.
saved Tom a lot of trouble.
But no. Hidden room. Oh, no,
Pizza.
you did find that one. Secret room. Golden claw-like weapons. You got that part. Golem. Oh, come on. It's got to be written here somewhere.
Inferno, did you pull a Bethesda on us, make us get into a secret room to find an empty chest?
No.
Well,
Oh,
when
you guys got the sweet berry wine. You guys got that.
you also got some alchemy dyes.
Yeah. Gems in the walls, too.
I think we decided to leave those alone for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, no. You guys did get everything.
Ha!
Yeah,
We
no, going through
100%ed
each
that.
point, I guess I'm misremembering because all this stuff, the magical dye, the plates, the silver plates, and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Silver
Yeah, no.
pitchers, gold, and
Yeah,
all
you
that
guys.
stuff.
I got a cool question for you, Inferno.
Okay.
So Inferno, do you enjoy being a GM or a player more?
See, now that's a straight. I don't. For the longest time, I really preferred being a player because it was a lot less work and a lot more fun. But I have so much fun GMing this campaign. You have no idea. I have not. There has not been a single freaking week where I'm like, oh man, I gotta do the campaign. I gotta come up with something. Right? I have always been excited about it. I've always been interested in this, and this is our 2-year anniversary. You know that we started in August 2 years ago.
Oh,
I don't know exactly what
Damn.
day. I think maybe it was near the end of August, so maybe a week or two. But for 2 years, I have not once been sick of it.
Eat that 99% of the groups out there that don't have 2-year campaigns.
Yeah. But I still really like being a player. But if someone put a gun to my head and forced me to say what I like more, it would be GMing. But honestly, it's a really close 50-50. It's probably like 51% GMing, 49% being a player.
cool.
Yeah.
I have not. I guess we can go around. Bern, have you gotten any GM to player ratios?
Oh, player like 100%. I think I explained this maybe last time. I tried GMing once, and I poured so much time and effort into it, and it was just not well received at all that I don't really want to try it again. Like I've gotten inspirations from looking at certain different systems. Like I think it was Dark Heresy. I was kind of interested in maybe GMing that, but I'm not confident enough to actually do a good enough job to actually want to go forward with it.
Okay. So you just like being the player? I can understand that.
I like being the player.
All right. I guess I'll do it before I drop the squee bombshell.
Sure.
I have actually not GM'd, period, so it's a little hard for me to say. I have actually been looking forward to doing such things. I've just been a little gun shy because I know that even if I'm a good or bad GM, I think the best thing that I can have in my toolbox is just like solid players, people who can really work together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just a big thing that I just gonna have to get into one day. But yeah, I've been loving playing as a player, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd remiss just never being a GM. Squee.
Yes. I wouldn't know. No. This is going to be kind of a strange answer, but I would definitely say player, and here's why. As a GM, my thoughts on what it's like to be a GM ranges a lot based on how the campaign's going, which kind of makes sense. But basically, there have been times where I did something as a GM that didn't go over well, or I didn't do a good job as a GM or something like that. And if you ask me at that point in time, do I like GMing? The answer is like, and then there's been other times where things went really well and everyone had a great time. And if you ask me at that point in time, I'd be like, it's awesome. But on the other hand, I don't think I've ever had a moment as a player where I shifted like that. So, like Inferno said, being a GM, there's an enormous amount of work involved in it. And at least for me, and I think for most GMs, not just physical work, but also emotional attachment that goes up and down based on how much your players enjoy something. So a player doesn't have that same roller coaster ride. So in some ways, I think I enjoy being a player a bit more.
You know what, Squee? I'm going to disagree with you. I have attachments, like direct emotional ties to my characters.
Yeah, okay. Misspoke. I did not mean to suggest that players don't have emotional attachments, but oh
yeah. I should also backpedal a little bit. This is my own personal experience, not everyone's.
Well, no. I can clarify. As a player, I have an emotional attachment to Al very strongly in the sense that I made Al, I control Al. As a GM, I have an emotional attachment to the entire world. And there's a lot more that can go wrong that can hit me in the feels, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
yes.
But I don't give the wrong impression at all. I love GMing. I think that probably player a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Boom. Any other questions? Our fine chat room. We'll wait another minute or so, and if there's nothing else, then we'll wrap things up and take a small break and then get on with the campaign.
The show.
Yeah.
Yes.
While we while we wait for another thing, I'm gonna show a short story about how I make a lot of my characters. Okay. Oh wait, no, there's a question.
How's Ardenfell?
That doesn't have anything to do with the risk, but we'll answer anyway.
Well,
we're getting together soon to play another session.
Yeah. And hopefully to potentially finish up this arc within the next few sessions. But thankfully, Ardenfell should be completely caught up from YouTube to the actual streams. So that's good. And
just
for the first
people,
time ever.
Yeah.
For the people watching on the YouTubes way later, this is going to be a little dated, so don't look entirely too forward to that, like 5 months from now or whatever, from when this video got put up.
So before we go into Luca's question, I'll quickly answer Trailby. It was wine. It was a sweet berry wine, and there was a preservative, which was a clear substance that could preserve food items, or really anything perishable. They were separate items found in separate areas. So Luke is wondering, this is for the characters, the other players. Were there any other character ideas that you guys thought of while you were making characters for this campaign that you didn't end up using? You know, what I mean, like, did you guys debate playing a different character class or something like that?
But I'll go first because my answer no.
Short answer.
For this campaign, no. I immediately saw, like, I tried doing a campaign with Inferno the first time, and I was trying to do a Cyber Knight, but then he started talking about bursters and how they can control fire, and I was like, that's my jam, so I'm gonna do that.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I've had several backup characters in case things go wrong and that kind of thing, but
Oh, what were some of your backup characters out of curiosity?
well, they're mostly like things like Borgs and magic users, maybe a techno wizard here and there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Squeepy?
No, but I kind of went about it a
You
different
kind of
way.
made your character from
Exactly.
scratch.
Yeah, I kind of went to Inferno and I said I threw out a few ideas of like, hey, I think this would be neat, and then we built a character from that. So it wasn't like I had like 3 characters in mind and then just chose one. I think that we built a custom character from the floor. So yeah, no, I didn't really have any other options.
Yeah, it was actually really funny, actually, with the group, because I was with them making all their characters. Both Piff and Squee said, "This is what I'd love to do," and I'm like, "This class will be really good for you, and we'll tweak it a little bit to make it perfect for you." And they're both like, "Yeah!" Byrne knew 100% what he wanted, and Kriana, the first thing I suggested to her was a crazy, and she's like, "I want all of this, yes, please."
Mm-hmm.
So, boom.
I'm almost positive. Just for everybody out there to know, I believe my character is completely vanilla. Like, you can make Patrick. There's no
Yeah.
like side rules or house rules for Patrick.
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
Patrick
you just took the rogue
is-
scientist and
Yeah.
Yeah. Rogue scientist, modified it a little bit, and boom.
No,
well, not
no
really
modification.
modified it. He
No,
just picked-
modified
he
it by
just
the
picked
skills.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, he chose specific skills.
All
Oh,
the
okay.
starry-eyed kids that are watching right now going, I could be Patrick.
That's true. You yourself could
Like
with
stat
easy
wise, if you roll the exact same stats, if you pick the same skills, there's no house rules. Zero. That is just that character.
I will crush some of your dreams, though. You can't be Patrick. There's only one Patrick, but you could be just like Patrick.
If I remember correctly, it only took about an hour, which is actually really fast for RIFTS characters, and most of it was the characters picking their skills.
Yeah.
Because stats are really easy, classes are really easy. Most of it was characters picking their skills and me letting them know what they were and throwing back some ideas. But on average, it was about an hour per character. And Byrne actually already made his character, and our chat was like 10 minutes long. He's like, "Here's my character sheet. Everything look good?" And I'm like, "Yep. Perfect." And then we just talked about, like, not stats. We talked about, like, I asked him, since I don't have... This is a fun thing that I did with each of the characters. Instead of saying, I'm not doing alignments. Instead, I want to ask you some questions, and you answer to the best of your ability so you can get an idea of your character, right? So I'd ask him things like, would you guys never torture, only torture when necessary, right? Would you betray a friend to achieve a goal? What do you think of the coalition? And I would tell those who didn't know what the coalition was, what they were. What do you think of DBs? Aliens, non-humans, stuff like that. So they could get already in a bit of a mind frame of who their characters are and what they think. Some really big general questions, rather than being like, okay, now read all these alignments and pick one, and you have to do exactly what this alignment says, right? So, yeah, kind of like a goat test, but a lot more freeform.
Yeah. So is there anything else? I think we're creeping up upon an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, just two little quick things. Did anyone else have? Does anyone else have backup characters other than Burn?
No,
Nope.
I have a lot of characters I've been throwing around, a lot of other campaigns, and a lot of different character ideas from such things,
Mhm.
but not something specific for this campaign. No.
Yeah, me
Okay.
either.
And IHT is wondering if they can get a peek at the character sheets. As long as each player is fine with it, maybe
Yeah.
we can prep it enough for next session. And I can, since you're the broadcaster, I can bring over the character sheets to you, and you can quickly display them.
Yeah, sure. I know I have mine.
Yeah.
The thing is, are you asking for the ones during the catch-up, or
No, we won't be
our
able to do the
current
catch-up ones because those ones are long gone. They would just be
Yeah.
current ones.
Well,
there
I
wouldn't
still
be any
have
spoilers.
I still have my ones from way back then.
Well, someone's organized. I am not, however.
Okay.
Whenever the other players gave me a new character sheet, I just replaced the old one because I figured that'd be easiest.
I have a philosophy for Patrick. Most of the other characters are done by levels. I think Patrick is the only one I have like one character sheet for, and that's like if something happens to him, then that's just who he is, and there's no rewind to that.
Yeah. Well, actually,
That's some weird I do for Patrick. I'm not even sure why.
I could throw the spreadsheet that I use for Tom in the chat if they want to see it.
Well, we'll save it for all the characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and to answer your quick question, Cobra, look up what a Sarissa is, and that will be your answer. Short answer, yes. Okay. So I think that will be it for this one. So
we will be back in about 10 minutes because that's how long it takes usually for YouTube to split up the videos. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys soon.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.